Walmart. About 14 bucks. It says on here somewhere, this is double wall stainless steel. I'm going to make this into a stove just like this. The inner chamber here has 27 ounces capacity. They also have right next to this on the shelf at Walmart about half the size. This would be too big for some people for a backpack hiking type stove. I don't know what it weighs, but it's not very heavy. Some people might want the shorter one. So I'm going to get this laid out for holes, and I'll be back in a minute. I'll show you how I do that. Okay, I got a piece of tape marked out 1-inch hole spacing. This is stainless steel, so I'm going to drill this with an 1/8 inch bit to start with, and then I'll enlarge these holes. I built this stove about 8 years ago from a YouTube video, and it works really good. And I guess he must have, the guy in the video, had you drill the holes just halfway around, leave this open. So I'm going to do the same thing. I'm going to just drill halfway around, and I can always drill out the backside if it doesn't work right. So I'm going to go drill those now. 1/8 inch hole every inch halfway around the stove. Okay, these are my pilot holes for my bottom holes of this can. That's all the holes on the outside. The rest of the holes go inside. This is double wall, and it's double wall only up to this inner ridge here. This is all pressed together, stainless. It's not going to do you any good to try and drill that. So I'm going to try and hit this edge, and if I can't get a drill bit to start, it's kind of hard sometimes to start a drill bit on a curved surface, especially on stainless steel. If I can't do it, I'm going to use a diamond, just a diamond point on a Dremel, scratch a start point, not even try to drill all the way through, just get a starting point for my drill bit. So in the holes on the inner part of the can, I've got to kind of copy this. These holes are going to be easy to drill with a longer drill bit, and the holes at the top should be easy enough to drill. Well, you can't, the inner diameter of this can is about 4 inches. I can't drill a hole on the inner layer of this jug at this height with a drill. Just is not going to happen. So what I think I might do is set up a Dremel and just cut a slot on the inside where these would normally be a round hole. Cut a slot, 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 slot. And I've done a few of these, quite a few, and I found it better to underdo things the first time. If you got to go back and cut more air holes, you could do that later. But if you cut too much, can't keep your stove lit, then you're screwed. All right, this is how I'm going to space my holes on this inner lip. I don't know if the camera is going to show you the marks. These marks are 1/2 inch apart on the bottom edge of this tape at that lip. I'm going to drill every other one, make them 1 inch apart, and after I've test fired it, if I decide I need another hole in between them, I'll do that. But it's a good way. A lot of other YouTube videos show you put a piece of tape on. I know this diameter or the circumference here is 10 inches, so half inch apart, they work out perfect. Down here, I did the same thing. I didn't show it. You guys don't need me to tell you everything. That's time for my disclaimer. I watch a lot of these videos on YouTube, and guys feel like they got to introduce you to their kids or their dog or show you around their shop, give you safety tips. I'm not going to do that because it makes the videos too long. So I assume if you're watching this, you're a big boy and you know how to work safely. So we'll skip all of that. I'm going to take this over to the drill press now and see if I can start an 1/8 inch drill bit in those holes, every other one. All right, drilling these holes turned out to be so easy that I decided to go ahead and just drill them all. So I've got a hole on the inner wall of this container, you know, about a 1/2 inch down, wherever it starts to separate. Approximately as close as I could get. That drill bit's going to drift on you a little bit, and I just go for it because it doesn't matter. Once this thing's up and running, nobody's going to take calipers to your holes. So once I get all my 1/8 inch, and I'm pretty much done, I've got 1/8 inch holes to put in the bottom of this for pilot holes, and I'll switch over to a bigger drill bit and make all these a little bigger. These I think I'll try and test fire at first without making them any bigger, just leave them that size, 1/8 inch. So I'll go to the next step and I'll give you an update when I'm done. All right, drilling the holes in the bottom of this can. Ran into a problem. There's a curve there, you can see. I was able to hit that center hole with the drill press. Problem with the drill press, I can't see inside the can to know where I'm drilling. So I tried it with a drill, and this will reach the bottom fine, and I can see what I'm doing. But where that's curved, the drill bit just wants to walk. So I'm going to have to punch a couple of small indentations, well, however many the holes are going to be. This is a file it's a round file for sharpening and chainsaw blades, and sharpen it on the grinder at a couple taps, 1 or 2 taps. That's going to give me an indent in the bottom of this can so my drill bit won't walk. So it's just basically, I'm going to eyeball these holes because I can't get my hand in there with a pin to make marks. So I'll just eyeball them. So one hole, you probably won't see this, but there's an indentation there that'll keep my drill bit from walking. So once I get those done, we'll start the next round. All right, so I got these pilot holes in the bottom drilled. Tried to space them, just eyeballed them as good as I could. That drill bit still walked in a few spots, so it might look a little more random than planned out. You see 4 indentions on that round spot. That's a concave little area, and I couldn't get a drill bit to stay still, so they're just going to be that way. There's a hole in the center, and I can make it bigger or whatever, but this is all about volume of air intake. So I'll enlarge these holes in the bottom to a 1/4 inch or 7/32, something like that. And same with these on the outside. And then I'm going to test fire it and see if I want to make these holes on this upper lip any bigger or not. And I'll boil water. I'll test it pretty good, because I know this thing, this older one, that'll boil 2 cups of water in about 4 minutes. So one other thing, this thing comes with a cup. It screws on the top. It's got a plastic liner that's not going to work. It'll melt but it's going to be, it'll be part of the stove. I'll drill holes through half of it, and I'll cut half of it out completely so you can feed sticks in there, and cut the top out, and that's where you can have your pot. It'll be like a pot stand too. And I'm not even going to drill these holes in the back because it might work good as a wind shield. So I'm just going to take these holes up to 7/32 now on the bottom. And I'm going to try and get away. I talked about earlier cutting slots with a Dremel on the inside wall of this. And I'm going to test fire it first because I don't want to. This is stainless steel. It's pretty hard to cut, especially with a soft Dremel wheel. And I don't have a diamond, well, I might have a diamond wheel somewhere, but anyway, I'll catch you up when I get through that next step. All right. These are the air intake holes on the bottom, on the outside part of this jug. I took them up to 5/16, or let's see, these are 3/8. I made them, and I can make them bigger, but I don't know if you can see on the camera, you can see the bottom of the inner wall of this can. And I can tell there's about a 1/4 inch space between the two walls. So if I need more air, I'm just going to go ahead and drill out same size, 3/8 all the way around. It'll work. I mean, I know it's going to work. These holes in the bottom of the inner wall, I made 1/4 inch, and that's about as big as they're going to get. If I need more air on that inner wall, I will cut slots with the Dremel on the inside. These holes are where the flame basically will come out. And I never mentioned, for somebody that doesn't know what we're doing here, this is a gasification stove. Air's going to come in. It's going to burn whatever. I want these holes on the inside a 1/4 inch because I'll probably be burning pellets, and I don't want them to fall through, because as you can see, there's no way to clean the ash out. The way I'll have to clean the ash out is fill it with water, slosh it around, let it drain out through a hole, and just keep doing that until it's empty. You got all these filings in there. They come out. It's kind of noisy, but now I've just figured out they'll come out these larger holes. But so I want to test fire this now, get it set up to test fire, and I'll film that too. But I'm pretty sure this is going to work as is, and we'll go to work on making a pot stand and go from there. All right, we're gonna test fire this stove, and I'll dim the lights in here. We'll see how well it operates. I'm just going to drop a couple pieces of paper towel on the bottom. This is just ethanol gas treatment. This is from the dollar store. Buy this for $1. You guys burn an alcohol stove, you know that heat is the best. This is methanol, so it's the same thing as heat. And that's the best fuel for your alcohol stoves. And I figured Dollar General, being Dollar General, would be the cheapest place to buy that. And it's actually not. Walmart and some of your auto parts stores, better place to buy that. But we're going to sacrifice a little here. Get this thing going. I'm building this stove as an experiment, but my son has been, I've got a son that's getting interested in bushcrafting and stuff like that. So it's not gasifying. You guys know what I'm talking about. Producing smoke like that. It's not gasifying yet, but once this thing catches fire, you should start to see that smoke disappear. We'll just give it a little artificial wind. I'll show you. See inside it. It's starting to flame up, and it'll get there. It's got to warm up that stainless steel. It's got to, the inner walls of that stainless steel got to heat up in order for it to gasify. It'll get there here in a second. Let's let you watch that. I'm going to dim the lights, see if we can see it better. Now, as that flame gets established, you'll start to see that smoke. The smoke is already almost not even there anymore. That's a gasifier stove, and it's operating like it should. Question is, we just imagine this is a pot of water. I won't be able to set it up. I'll snuff out the flame if I set it on top. But yeah, it'll cover the flame on that thing will cover a pretty good sized pot. That's a whatever they call that. It's a 1 gallon paint can is what it is. But this stove, I wasn't really intending it to be used for some of those smaller camping utensils that you buy that are just a couple of cups. This was built more to put a pretty good sized pot on to feed a few people, or make a good sized pot of coffee. I'm gonna take this off here. I'll show you if you can see the flames are coming out of those holes in the upper lip of the inner wall of that can. Here's I don't know if you can see it, but I see it perfectly right here where it's gasifying, was gasifying great. But I'd call this a success. I don't think, until I go get a pot of water and test it with that, I don't think I'm going to change anything yet. That some of that smoke you're seeing is from this label that's burning off. But that's about it. I've been out here in my shop for about an hour and a half, I guess. And that's how long it takes. And it's just basically you do all this with a drill and 3 different size drill bits. I haven't built the stand for it yet, but might do that later tonight or maybe tomorrow.